ring of a bell comes to you on a cold wind. The ring comes again and again, until soon the air is full with the sound of 1,000 bells ringing all at once. You feel a resonance in your core, a bell ringing in tune with all the others. Something in you bends, then breaks, and you are borne away on the ringing tide, just another peal among the many. The tide of bells recedes. You lever yourself up onto your knees and realize you have been here before. You stand in Bareth's realm. You are alone. And then, you are not. An indistinct figure stands before you, flickering between forms like a fire-cast shadow. A fixed, taunting grin. Bottomless black eyes. A yawning chasm in the earth. The aspects of Bareth, the Usher and the Pallid Knight, shift in and out of focus. And at their back, 4 indistinct shades hover. You feel an eternity stretch out behind each of them, reaching back to places so distant and yet so near you cannot comprehend their size. The shifting image of Bareth settles on the aspect of the Pallid Knight.
Watcher.
She intones. Her voice is the discordant clangor of gongs struck out of time.
I tasked you to discover Aethys's intentions. Tell me what you have learned.
The Pallid Knight knits her brows.
He does not seek to return to the Beyond? Intriguing.
Her sickly pale skin pulls tight across the bones of her face, as if the shell of this aspect does not quite fit the impossible creature it contains. The figure nearest Bareth dissolves and reforms in the image of a thin-lipped, ancient crone, whose face has felt the melting kiss of fire. The goddess Wodica strides forward.
Does Aethys frighten you, Bareth? He should. Magran subdued Aethys's influence once before, and yet he returned.
From out of Wodica's shadow shuffles a hunched, bald man you recognize as the god Scan. His skin is mapped with swollen lash scars, and breath whistles through the ragged hole in his face where his nose once was. He does not speak, but stares up at Wodica with naked loathing plain on his ruined face. Wodica steeples her long, knob-jointed fingers.
We must annihilate Aethys now, before he makes a rash decision we cannot easily annul. A moon would do the job nicely.
Wodica says, and grins. A voice echoes from the shape nearest Bareth.
The lava is too large to be moved, and Koltha too quick to be caught, even for a god of Wodica's strength and apparent lunacy.
The figure beside the aspect of Bareth flows forward in a swirling cloud of ash. The ash falls to the tiles and reveals a molten-skinned woman, leaning on a monstrous, wicked-edged broadsword. Magran's glowing lips curl in disdain.
We must find a solution to the problem of Aethys that is neither do nothing, nor destroy the world. I acted in haste during the Saints' War. You will not goad me into doing the same now. To move against him while his plans are unknown would be the height of foolishness. We must find wisdom in precaution.
Magran says. Magran looks at you as one might a wayward gob of spit on one's shoe.
It is no business of yours what the gods decide.
Another of the silent figures steps forward, and the warm, golden light of a summer's afternoon spills across your face.
Let's all take a deep, calming breath. Perhaps cooler heads will prevail.
Behind Helia's words, you hear the soft coo of doves.
Aethys has been separated from us for too long. Isn't it possible he intends only to gather enough souls to reclaim his realm in the Beyond? He should be welcomed.
You look up then into avian eyes, Through them, you see clouds of starlings converge and divide. Helia puts a feathered hand to her chest.
He wouldn't. Betrayal is not in his nature.
Scan shuffles forward.
Yes, yes. We should welcome Aethys's return to the fold. His gratitude we can leverage to cajole him into divulging his plot. Then, when he believes himself to be in our good graces, we do as Wedeka suggests, and crush him into the earth.
Scan pauses, inspecting you.
Ah, and here is the Watcher who killed Lord Harren, the man who tormented his dear niece, Alice. Curious.
Scan licks the ragged edge of his lipless mouth and grins, then turns to Helia.
I did not expect such a deliciously ruthless idea from you, Helia. I am impressed.
Helia's feathered crest stands on end.
You wretched little creature.
Your point is well made, little Watcher. If self-evident, Aethys has not been known to possess a vindictive nature. Indeed, he has occasionally been magnanimous to a fault.
Magrin says.
However, if we push him to the brink of reason, there is no telling what he may do. He is, as ever, unpredictable.
Something akin to fondness creeps into her voice. The Pallid Knight gestures for silence.
Aethys cannot be killed, but he may be subdued. Yet to do so will take immense power and time. Both stand in his favor.
Magrin grits her black glass teeth.
That is why we must ascertain his plans before he has the chance to put them into motion.
She begins to pace. Her steps leave little trails of fire in her wake. Magrin stops and balls her hands into flaming fists.
Even if we manage to destroy his current form, there is the possibility he could return, if he has not already absorbed all of his children.
The Pallid Knight casts a cold, cutting glare in Magrin's direction.
Magrin speaks too freely. That knowledge is beyond your ken, Watcher.
Wodika waves the gods to silence.
Aethys gathers strength. His strength is a threat to us.
Her voice takes on a sharp, almost panicked edge.
There is no sensible answer to the question of a resurgent Aethys other than decisive, final action.
Your opinion is unasked for, but noted. We will act when it is appropriate to do so, and not before.
The Pallid Knight steps away from the half-circle of assembled gods. She pulls herself up to a great height. The words she speaks next come not from her mouth, but from all around you.
Follow him, Watcher.
The black of the Pallid Knight's irises expand until her eyes are as dark and cold as the void between stars. She bends down and brings her ghostly face level with your own.
Your debt to me remains unpaid.
She stares at you, unblinking. Like a needle drawn to a magnet, you are pulled toward her one compulsory step at a time. Helpless to resist, you tumble into her impossible eyes. You fall wildly, endlessly, unable to find your bearings or slow your spin. And in the distance, above, no, behind you, comes an insistent ringing. You angle yourself toward it, searching for the sound. A small silver bell appears just inches from your fingertips. You reach for it, straining to still its interminable ringing. The moment you touch it, your soul slams into your body with all the force of a fall from the top of the sky. You blink open your eyes and find yourself on the floor of your ship's cabin, alone.
You're far from home, farmer. How did you make it all this way in your... little boat?
Why do we gotta be farmers just 'cause we're from Deerwood?
Are you a farmer?
Yeah, but you can't just assume. We got rabble-rousers, too.
I'm the harbor master, Kauha. I must ask your reason for docking in Nekataka. Yeah, you do need to see someone, truly. I think it's the animancers in the spire you're looking for. To help with your head.
Show them. Show them what you are.
I've heard enough. There's no room for you in Nekataka Harbor. Get back on your ship and head back to open sea.
I will help you.
What's the matter with you? What are you doing? If you're trying to scare us with some cipher mischief, save the purple flames for the tribes of the Outer Islands.
Now.
What? What is this?
Run for it!
Watcher. Tiverus. Is it really you?
Hey, I know those feathers. Pallegina.
It's been ages. But what's happened to your armor?
You two know each other? I mean, I wouldn't be jealous if you did.
Know this lass, Cap? Oh, I wanted to wear you favoured feathers.
I'm sure that even at Cadnois, you must have heard what happened when I returned to the Republics. The Republic survived. That is the most important thing. And here the company's business seems to be getting on fine without my interference. No. No company associated with the Dukes will employ me now. I get by working as a ship guard. At least I can be among my people, even if they look down on me. I suppose I should not be surprised considering all we went through. But no, I will not be coming with you, Watcher. I would be lucky if I wound up dead. Kores, Watcher.
Do take care of yourself, Pallegina.
I only deal with serious clients. Now, Shu. Done. You are dismissed. Madiko. But it is impossible to find skilled work when every competent freelancer wastes their shore leave in the wild mare. When blood travels south of their brains, the value of a good bounty is forgotten. You, a nameless face of the streets? I do not make a habit of shepherding new talent, but there is a seed of potential. We will cut your teeth on Biakara, a Huana sailor and would-be patriot who plagues company ships. Gelarde! Viakara sails a voyager's scale of Tangaloa off of Hasongo's northeastern coast. Questions? Ask your questions, Aimiko. Ugh, but I blame Luminous Adra. Our privateers are busy escorting shipments out of the Deadfire. Everyone is rich, no one is hungry. Where are the Casitas willing to sink their enemies for a bag of pies, huh? Drunk on success.
Ado, my friend. I knew our paths would cross eventually. Que? No, you mistake me. I am not one of the courtesans. Tell me, you are the one who sails that fine ship, Ak? Terrorize the docks with spirits, Ak? I am Aboko, and I am positioned to offer... I have opportunities for... Thousand times I practiced my speech. Merda. Never did it go this poorly. Agrasima, do you know what my problem is, Aimiko? I am supposed to be in the business of giving bounties, but I know no one who hunts them. No one will unfurl their sail for my humble payments. But I must start from the bottom and work my way to the top, Ak? Agrasima, my friend. If you are ever lacking in drinking money, you know where to look. It is true that I have stumbled in my career path. Now that I have such an accomplished hunter, I can stand in the long shadow of your success. It's not all bad, but the momentum of meeting new clients over drinks and in such enchanting company, it drains the stamina, my friend. You will take the job? You will take the job. Agrasima, something special for my first hunter then. I will start you on Mariel, the mad animancer. She tortures her victims with unspeakable treatments before casting what's left to Berath's will. My contact saw her leaving Port Mage and heading west of Mage Island. My first bounty to pay off. An exciting day for us both. Maybe it's not much, but as I make more deals, more pyres will be available, Ak? I finally managed to land the rights to a bounty of value. You may not like it. There is a thirsty drake who roosts near an oasis northeast of Mage Island. An important site for refilling canteens. The local tribes call him Purakeo, after a sea dragon of legend. Even so, they have no love for this water thief.
You say I cannot down the rest? Watch me, Aimiko. Madiko, it is no wonder I thirst. Ado, why do you stare? Agrasima, even in the oasis I am parched. If you grant wishes, there is a vacancy on my ship.
Yet another reminder that not every seaworthy vessel be crewed up to the standards of the sorcerer.
Sientere, Frero. Next time around the wheel, perhaps. The fun ran dry with the coin. When the dancers see more than an empty purse, I will be a content Radora.
Have you seen an old elf hanging around here lately? Dresses funny, probably drunker than an eel in a barrel of mead. Andra's crushing void, I thought as much. Ugh. Listen, the guy I'm looking for owes me a lot of money. 5,000 coppers. You help me find him, and I'll give you 20%. The drunk old goat I was pestering you about, Oswald. Like the credulous fool I am, I gave him a loan and he ran off before paying me back. Fine, Andra's great sagging tits, fine. You can have 40% and rights to whatever baubles Oswald has on him. How about this? I give you 60% and we never discuss this again. Haggling for the fun of it not keeping you busy enough? The man I'm looking for, Oswald, was especially fond of one of the courtesans upstairs, Analis. Maybe you can get more out of her than I can. She refuses to speak to me, the snippy little cur. She wasn't receptive to my particular charms. Let's see you do better. Maybe you can get more out of her than I can. She refuses to speak to me, the snippy little cur. What do you want to know? I was hoping you wouldn't ask me that. But hey, what the hell? I'm one of the countless minor nobles that litter the Deerwooden countryside. You know Admeth Hadret, hero of the War of Defiance? He's my great whatever. When people find out, they start doing weird shit. Calling me lady, opening doors for me, buying me drinks. Really, the title is a mockery. It means nothing to me. The man's a family friend. Has been for... must be 4 generations now. The perk of being an elf, eh? It's my fault, really. I should have known better than to believe that damned old drunk knew what he was doing. Man's a wizard. You understand, and a tinkerer. He convinced himself and me he could, with enough luminous Adra, create a device that would add years to one's life. Must have been a crock of shit, because one day he up and ran without a word of explanation or apology. I thought I knew him better than that.
Come, lay your head on my breast. I will read to you the work of my favorite poet, Skilba. I'm sure I don't know who you're talking about. Now please leave. If I knew a man named Oswald, and if that man was in danger, I would still decline to be involved. Now, is there something else I can do for you? Oh, her. Yes, she is persistent, isn't she? She barged in and began asking me all sorts of inappropriate questions about my customers. She grew incensed when I asked her to leave. She's no longer welcome in my room. I do hope she's not a friend of yours. Her manners are atrocious. It's futile to attempt to summarize the whole of a person in simple words. How to capture their dreams, the desires of another, their feel and taste. But I appreciate your curiosity nonetheless. I am an actor. Trained from childhood. Difficult for you to believe, I'm sure. My troupe were my family, and we traveled the whole of the Adir Empire, performing the classic literatures to cheering audiences. The work was good when the crowds were grateful, and their pockets swelled with coin. I found a more dependable application of my talents here, to touch the hearts of others with my voice. I could not give that up. Have you come to hear some verse? I'm sure I don't know who you're talking about. Now please leave. Oswald has visited oft of late. He's a sentimental old man, and he longs for the words of our homeland, Adir. I would often read the old epics to him in their original Eldadiran. He's grown paranoid recently, however, always muttering about the shadows following him and other such nonsense. It was quite unnerving, frankly. He came to me in a panic a few days ago and shoved his journal into my hands. He told me he'd be back for it, but I've not seen hide nor hair of him since. I wonder... perhaps his journal would help you find him. Here, take this key. You'll find the journal in my armoire.
Come to seek ablutions for your sins? Ha! Get it? Ablutions? Absolution? Ha! I crack myself up. Gets me every time. Massage? Bath? Whatever you need. Just ask. Oh, you don't want to hear about that. I lived a boring life, so there wouldn't be much to the telling. Truth be told, my real passion is pottery. Trouble is, I got these big hands. Ha! Not meant for delicate work. Worked out in the end, of course. Now I specialize in relieving tension in a Maua and death godlike. I guess I can't hide my feelings as well as I thought I could. The stability's good and all, but I haven't seen anything that gets my blood pumping in ages. You know what I mean? Doing the same old thing day in, day out. It's enough to make a man leap from the nearest window. Where to? No kidding. I like to see something like that for myself. Do you think I could come with you? Just for a bit? Hell, you don't have to tell me twice.
See something you like? Aloth, this is the last place I expected to see you. Have your interests changed so much since our time at Bragon Hill?
No, I still enjoy tile puzzles and deflecting personal questions. Anyway, what are you doing here?
I could ask the same of you. I make my own hours, meet fascinating people, and the coin's nothing to sneer at. Better than stuffy old books and unflattering robes.
This is Ymir, an old friend from my academy days.
A pleasure to meet you. It's good to see you again, Aloth. Anyway, I should get back to it. Be well.
It was lovely seeing you. Perhaps lovely is too strong a word. I meant pleasant. Perfectly agreeable. I can see where I may have confused the poor fellow in our academy days. 'Twas a right fierce labour getting the lad to finger any flesh that weren't covering his spelly books.
Did you enjoy the show? There's more to see, if you're interested. I suppose. I was raised in the Adir Empire. When I was young, I studied to be an arcane knight. After an incident at my school, I left the continent and wandered until I found myself in Nikotaka. As you can see, I stayed. A handful of my fellow students got up to a bit of mischief that ended with several people dead. I suppose. I was raised in the Adir Empire. When I was young, I studied to be an arcane knight. Same as any of the courtesans here, I imagine. I showed an aptitude. I trained with a master, and when I was ready, I began accepting clients of my own. There is more to every story. But the rest of it belongs to me, and I don't care to share it. Till later, then.
Have you got any leads on that mad old goat yet? Oh, Oswald, you really stepped in it now, haven't you? Getting mixed up with Woodikins? You damned old fool. Where could they have taken him? Not really. To be honest, I spent most of the trip out from Defiance Bay bent over the bulwark giving Andra a taste of my innards. I hate boats. Damn, if only I could find that captain who gave us passage to the Deadfire. Bet he'd know. Wait a tick. When our ship neared Nekataka, the bosun told me about a weird temple on an island in the Karatapu Channel, southwest of the city. She wouldn't tell me what it was for, though. Got real spooked when I asked. Go take a look then, and let me know what you find. With any luck, you'll catch the old goat there in one piece, and we'll both leave here with some weight in our purse.
If you told me a few years ago that I'd end up following you on another crazy errand, I'd have said you were out of your mind. Not because I got anything against you, more that trouble seems to come looking for you wherever you go. Yet, here we are again, probably on our way to die. Well, you already did, but me, I mean. All real nice of you to share. Someday I'll have to get you a gift. And wouldn't you know it, this time is shaping up to be crazier than the last one. But I gotta say, I appreciate how you've handled things. Times like these, staying decent's not as easy as it sounds. Thought you were weird at first, of course, but you've surprised me. Well, that's why I mention it. Sometimes it's been anything but. I've been meaning to ask, though. How is it you never seem to lose your way through all this? What is it tells you you're on the right path? Why didn't I think of that? Could have saved myself some trouble. When I was a boy, things were simpler. Aethys was more like a character we read about in church. Yeah, I guess it was. Well, most stories had him helping folks or making the world work as it should. You pray to him, he might help you too. There was no cost to it. No confusion about his will or followers taken into extremes. Following Aethys was right. Had no reason to question. Do you think there's any way that following him could still be the right path? After all we've seen? I guess we'll see what he has in store soon enough. If we make it that far. Anyway, I didn't mean for this to get depressing. I think this was just a long way of saying, I appreciate the way you've guided things. Makes me feel like I'm doing some good, going with you.
If you are here about the taxes, tell the Queen... Oh, you are not the tax collector. What business brings you to my mill? Okay? You go around asking just anyone in Queensbirth personal questions, maybe you end up dead in a ditch. Have caution, eh? Lucky for you, I am a woman of honor. I direct luminous milling for the Valian Trading Company. It's a nice job, huh? And I'm quite good at it. You want to know more? Buy me a drink first, per guano. We mill luminous, of course. Take big chunks, break into smaller chunks, crush into dust-sized chunks. Per complancanet, it is really not so complicated. Good day.
Oh, hello. Welcome to my shop. It's such a pleasure to see a new face. How might I assist you? Oh, I am a cartographer. I make maps. I'm not half bad at it either. And may the gods forgive my immodesty for saying so. If you need a map of any settled region of the Deadfire, I am your man. And my commission rates are quite generous. It used to be I would take to the sea and do a bit of charting myself, but I haven't the time. Too many maps need making. A shame, too. There's a whole swath of the Deadfire I've yet to see. I'm quite keen to write a book, in fact. Oh, but I won't trouble you about that. Excuse my nattering on, won't you? Sometimes. Married to the work, you know? I just get so engrossed in my maps. And next I know, it's morning. Sharing a bed with a few maps is a good sight better than sharing with Caleb, I'll tell you that. He always hogs the blankets. You think so? He is a magnificent beast, isn't he? He's been a bit low lately. Between you and me, I think he's heartsick for the sea. I'm putting together an explorer's account of the Deadfire. Or at least the part of it Queen Onekaza's tribe has laid claim to. My book will be the first of its kind. The Explorers Club will go mad for it. Or, well, that was the idea. It's a fiercely dangerous enterprise, in point of fact, and nobody will agree to chart the islands for me. You'd think ship captains would be a bold-hearted bunch. I offered fair recompense. I'm not exactly the most powerful fighter, or I do it all myself. Still, wouldn't it be wonderful? An explorer's guide to the Deadfire. Someday. Do you mean it? This is... wow! I can't thank you enough. It's a lot of ground, I mean water to cover, and some of these islands are in very dangerous waters. Don't worry, I planned it all out. We'll get your feet wet first. With a little experience under your belt, I'm sure you'll get a taste for it. Nothing will stop us. I mean, you. The idea is to explore all the islands that haven't been charted yet, or even named. That falls to you, amico. You can't tell me you've never wanted to name your own island. I thought we could start with the waters around the company outpost at Port Magi. There are 2 islands in the region, and nobody's taken much notice of them yet. Once you're back, I'll start filling in my map and adding your findings to the book. Oh, this will be wonderful.